All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Brenna. I'll be leading you through our 45 minutes of body weight strength training today. First, we'll start with the waiver and then get into the work. So in order to make these classes as freely accessible as possible to our participants, we will be using a verbal warning and assumption of risk at the beginning of each class. Participation in this online class is voluntary. Physical activity programs may result in injury, and by participating, you assume the risk of injury that may result from your participation. We strongly recommend that you participate from a space that is suitable for this activity. For example, make sure you have moved nearby furniture and other potential hazards. If you are participating in a yoga class or a class that involves laying on the ground, we recommend using a mat, or if you don't have one, a carpeted area. Participants are encouraged to stop if they experience pain or injury and should seek appropriate medical advice or care as needed. William & Mary Health and Wellness strongly recommends that each participant have an annual physical examination and follow the advice of your healthcare provider before participating. All right, there we go. And we'll go ahead and get started. So if you can meet me on your mat or your open space, we'll start with a little warm up and then get into the work of our class. Perfect. So we're going to start from the top of our body, just warming up. So starting with our neck, we're going to draw our chin over one shoulder, feeling the stretch on the side of our neck here. Moving through center to the other side. And then continuing this movement at your own pace. Taking nice deep breaths. And meeting me back in center. Draw your chin straight down towards your chest. Moving through center, chin towards the ceiling. And again, moving at your own pace here. Make sure we've got a nice micro bend in our knees. We're not locking them out here. One more. And back to center, drawing one ear to the shoulder. Making sure not to lift that shoulder up to meet your ear. Through center to the other side. And one more time each side. Now that we've warmed up each direction, we'll take some neck rolls in one direction. Nice and slow all the way around our circle. And we reverse the direction. One more time. Meeting me in a nice neutral neck position here. We'll move down to our shoulders next. So drawing our shoulders up towards our ears, moving them back, pulling those shoulder blades together, and letting them fall down. And reversing that direction, so pulling them back, up, and forward. And then finding a bit of a wider stance here, we're going to move down to our trunk a little bit, and we're going to twist, making sure when we twist to lift that back heel. We're just twisting side to side. Maybe as you get a little warmer, making those twists a little faster, a little bigger. And then we're going to move down to our lower body, starting with some Frankensteins. So if your hamstrings aren't quite warm yet, feel free to start with a bent knee. Instead, we're going to bring opposite elbow to opposite knee, engaging our core. And then as you start to feel a little warm, you can straighten out that leg and arm for our typical Frankenstein movement here. Or I think some people call them toy soldiers maybe. And don't worry if you're not touching your hand to your foot like I am. I was a gymnast for a very long time, so. Two more each side. One more. yourself at the top of your mat or at one end. We're going to incorporate a full body movement here to round out our warm-up. So we did these last time I taught if you were there. Finding a nice gentle bend in your knee. We are going to bend forward, generous forward fold until you can touch the ground. If you have to bend this far to touch the ground, that is perfectly fine. Then we are going to walk those hands out into our plank position. So a few cues for our plank position. We'll see a few times throughout class today. We want those shoulders right over our wrists. A nice straight line from the top of our head to our heels. No mountains and no valleys. So once we hit our plank position, we walk those hands back to our feet. Stand it all the way up. And continue this inchworm movement a few times. Going at your own pace. Keeping in mind this is our warm-up, so if you're not starting to feel warm, maybe pick up the pace a little bit. Let's take 2 more each. Last one. Meet me in a nice standing position when you're finished. And that concludes our warm-up. We're going to head straight into our working movements. At any point throughout class, feel free to grab a sip of water or take a rest at any point that you need. So we're going to first start with our squatting combo. And for simplicity's sake, we'll start standing with our movements in class and then work our way down to the floor. So find me on one end of your mat with a nice narrow stance, feet just about hip width apart. We're going to start with just a narrow squat here. So this might feel a little odd. Most people are used to squatting with their feet a little wider. And of course, if you have any pain, do change your stance. So in our narrow squats, we're sitting our butt back, keeping our chest nice and proud. If you have any words on your shirt, I should be able to read them. Alexis is looking great. And then after our next narrow squat, you're going to step that one foot out to a little bit wider than hip width for what might feel like a natural squat to you. Try a couple here. That'll be our second stance. And then we're going to try our third stance, which is our wide squat. So again, stepping a little bit wider out. This might feel wider than you would normally squat. And your knees are going to press out towards your toes. Make sure to not let them cave in. So get a little comfortable with your wide squats as well. Once you feel good there, we're actually going to start our combo in narrow. So I'm going to call them narrow, mid stance, and wide. So our combo is pretty simple. So it'll be a narrow squat, a step out to mid stance squat, a step out to wide squat, and then you're going to move that other leg next. So we start with wide, then stepping that into mid stance, stepping it into narrow, then back the other direction. So the different squat stances do target some different muscles, which is why we do each of them. We're going to be in this combo for a little bit, so get nice and comfy. If you want to add a little bit of a challenge in your combo between squats, try a leg abduction raise before placing that foot back on the ground. Try not to kick anything like I just did. Oh, we have a guest again. Thank you. It's always nice to have a good distraction when we have a long working set. Let's go one more time in each direction. And once you hit that last narrow squat, you are finished. Grab a sip of water. Riley, I really don't think it's gonna work if you stand there. All right, we're gonna give those legs a little bit of a break with our next combination. So this next few movements are gonna focus up in our shoulders. So we're gonna start, you can see I'm gonna move back a little bit. We'll start with some goalpost arms here. Hands flat or fists, whatever feels good to you. And we're gonna start with a simple rotation down, rotation up, meet those elbows together, back out. So we go down, up, in, and out. So right now, these probably feel pretty simple, but by the end of our shoulder movements, you definitely feel the burn. And these are, of course, a great movement if you do have access to weights, or not even weights, if you have water bottles, candles, anything you can hold. These are a great movement to add a little weight to if you'd like. Again, when we're standing, bringing a little awareness to not locking out our knees. When we lock out our knees, we have the tendency to get a little bit of a sway here in our lower back. We don't want that, so we want to tighten the bend and tuck those hips under. Our next movement, when we rotate under, we'll extend those arms out, squeezing our triceps, bring them back into bent, back up. So I'm already feeling the burn in my shoulders. That might have something to do with having done a body combat video yesterday. But if you're also feeling the burn, feel free to shake it out or take a break as you need. In this movement, really controlling that extension, not using momentum. That's how we target those triceps. Let's do 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take a quick shake it out, shake those arms out. We do have 2 more movements, so get those shoulders nice and loose, or as loose as you can before we get started with our last 2 shoulder movements. So this movement, we're going to extend those arms out, again, perpendicular to the floor, or parallel to the floor, perpendicular to our body. Those palms facing the ceiling. We're going to curl those arms into our shoulders, sort of a modified bicep curl. Again, if you have weight, feel free to use that. But you should feel the same activation even if you're not using weights. Keep breathing. For 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Don't drop those arms. Take them back to goalpost, and we just have tiny pulses. 1 inch up, 1 inch down. Hopefully you have a nice, good song to take you through the last of our shoulder movements. Maybe flatten out those hands and raise the roof. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Whew. Shake out those arms. We'll take a nice shoulder stretch before our next movement. Grabbing one arm above or below the elbow joint, drawing it across our body. Making sure to keep that shoulder away from our ear here. And switching to that other arm. Again, making sure not to grab right on our elbow joint, just to protect it. So we've got one more standing combination, and then we'll move to the floor for the rest of our work. All right. So you're gonna need a little bit of space moving sideways in both directions. So I'm gonna start somewhere near the middle of my mat here. This is gonna be our lunge combo. So I'll show you the 2 lunges that are incorporated in this combo, and then we'll put them together. So I'm gonna start with my left leg forward, drawing that right leg off the ground. We're gonna start with a curtsy lunge. So instead of stepping right behind us, we're gonna step a little bit diagonal here. We lunge it down, finding a 90-degree angle in the front here, and then step back in. So try a couple of these curtsies on this side. Get a feeling for it. You can keep your hands on your hips if you'd like, or some people like to use runner's arms to help them balance here. So that's our first lunge. Our second lunge is going to be a simple side lunge. So taking the same leg off the ground, nice wide stance. We keep that other leg straight as we bend our knee over our toe. Nice proud chest here. So you can try a few of these. Get a feel for those. And then our combo here, we're going to put those together. So we're going to step back into a curtsy lunge. You can step in the middle if you'd like, or float that leg straight out to side lunge. Back to center. Curtsy, float that leg out to the side. So another option in side lunges that some people like to take is you can take that opposite hand and reach for your toe. That gets a little core activation in there. Very nice work, keep it up. Let's take 3 more combos at your own pace. 2 to go. Last one. And meet me in center. Take a second, shake out that quad. Maybe take a quad stretch if you'd like. And then of course, we gotta do the other side, can't be uneven. So make sure you've got enough space around you. I'm gonna move a little bit to this side of my mat now. So this time, I'm gonna stay grounded on that right leg. Draw that left foot off the ground, starting with a few curtsy lunges. So instead of straight back, we're diagonal a little bit here. So just try a few of those first. If you feel comfortable with your lunges, feel free to start the combo. And then our second lunge is our side lunge, nice wide stance. Knees tracks over our toe, not into the middle here. Chest nice and proud. Again, option to take that opposite hand to the foot. When you are ready, combining the 2, our curtsy lunge, float it out to our side lunge, back to center. Nice work, everybody. Check in with your form. Make sure on those lunges, especially the side ones, we have a nice proud chest. We don't want to be dumping forward. Take 3 more combos. 2. 1 more. Beautiful work. Taking a shakeout and quad stretch on the other side. Taking a second to catch that breath a little bit. And then grab a sip of water, and we'll head down to our mat. We're going to start in a tabletop position here, towards the back of your mat. So you want a lot of space in front of you for this next movement. So as a bit of a side note before our next movement, if you need a break during any movement, child's pose is a wonderful place to come back to rest. So feel free to take that as needed. So starting in our nice tabletop position, you want those hips right over your knees, your shoulders right over your hands. If you take a peek between your legs, you shouldn't be able to see your feet behind you. In this next movement, you're going to keep everything from your knees down to your toes glued to the ground. So this movement is going to be a modified ab roller. So I don't know if a lot of you have seen those wheels that you can roll in and out. We're going to do a similar movement, starting with some tiny steps of those hands out as far as you can go while keeping a nice engaged core, not letting any valleys come in. So once you get as far as you can, we take nice small steps back. And then we're back out. Try to take the tiniest little hand movements that you can. See how many steps you can get all the way out and all the way in. Throughout this movement, we're trying to keep those hips stable, not swinging from side to side. And maybe at the outermost position, you hold for a couple seconds before walking it back in. Make sure you keep breathing. We'll take this 2 more times out and back in. I don't know about all of you, but I feel the work in my core as well as the activation in my shoulders from earlier. 1 more. And meet me back in tabletop. I'm just going to straighten out my mat. Beautiful work, everybody, on that. We are moving into everybody's favorite movement. I know you don't believe me saying that. We're headed into our only push-ups of class today, and I promised Jenna that I would not increase the number every single class. So we're going to take 12 today. That's my goal for all of you. If you'd like to go past that goal, feel free to. And these are going to be at your own pace. I'll count mine out, but first, I'm going to show you guys your options. So you can take your push-ups right here in tabletop, bring that chest to elbow height and back up, or you can flatten out those hips, take your push-ups on your knees. If you're feeling super crazy, you can tuck those toes, lift those knees, and do your push-ups on your toes. You can take any variation. I challenge you to take one and a little bit harder variation than you would usually choose. So you can do these at your own pace. I'll count my 12. If you'd like to come with me, I'll start right here. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Nice work, keep it up. We are halfway there. 7, down and up, that's 8, 9, 3 more, you've got this. 10, 11, can you take one on your toes? And 12. Whew. Beautiful work. Sit it back to a child's pose. And be thankful and impressed with finishing your only set of push-ups today. Alrighty, now that we are finished with those, we're going to take the focus down to our glutes a little bit. So you want to be about in the center of your mat here. Make sure you have some room to either side. So find your nice good tabletop, engaged core here. I'll start with the leg that's closest to you. We're going to start with some fire hydrants. So we're going to keep that nice bend in our leg, just lifting to the side. Maybe you can see better if I go this direction. So we're just lifting to the side here, keeping a nice 90-degree angle at our knee. Just going as high as you can while keeping your hip bones pointed toward the floor. We want a nice neutral neck, gazing a few inches to a foot in front of our hands here. Feel the fire building. Our next movement is going to be a circle. So you may not have seen these before. You're going to draw that leg out behind you, bend it over to the side and back in. So the last part of the movement is just like the lowering part of a fire hydrant. Trying to keep the weight evenly distributed in our hands. Try not to lean entirely to the other side. And of course, we are going to reverse that circle. So we draw the leg out to our fire hydrant, back behind us, circle it back through the center. Kind of like breaststroke, or at least how I do breaststroke. I'm not a swimmer, so this is probably wrong, but this is how I do breaststroke. And we'll finish out our glute circuit with one fire hydrant hold at the top. We're holding, we're thinking about other things, maybe how beautiful the weather is. I don't know where all of you are, but it's nice and sunny today. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Whew. Take that knee back down to tabletop. Maybe shake those hips from side to side. Getting a little Shakira, hips don't lie movement here. And then, of course, we can't be uneven, so I will move to the other side so you can see what I'm doing. Check in with your nice, good tabletop position here. Weight evenly distributed in both of our hands. And we'll start with just our fire hydrant raises to the side. You all are more than halfway through your workout. Check in with your hips, make sure they are squared towards the floor. And then we'll take it into our first set of circles. So extending out behind us, drawing the leg out to the side, back down like a fire hydrant. And if you all are shaking, don't worry, you're doing it right. I am shaking. 2 more this direction. And then we will reverse. So up to fire hydrant, extend back, circle forward. If you feel any discomfort in your wrists, feel free to go onto your fists here. It tends to feel a little better. And you all know what's coming. There's no surprises. Meet me in that fire hydrant and we hold. And we think about other things. We think about how we're excited that it's the weekend. For 3, 2, and 1. Whew. Shake out those hips. Maybe draw it back to a child's pose. And let's grab a sip of water if you'd like to. All right. So when you are ready, we're going to find ourselves in a downward dog to start this next exercise, which will be core focused. So finding a nice triangle here, using your mat, hands and feet nice out wide. Maybe walk the dog a little bit, stretch out those calves, and the entire back side of our legs. And then find stillness here. Start by drawing that left foot off the ground, extending nice and high, but make sure not to turn those hips out like this. We want to stay squared to the mat again. From here, shifting our weight forward, drawing that left knee in towards our elbows, extending back out, and back in. This is our movement here between our downward dog and our plank. If this feels a little intense for you today, you can do the exact same movement here with your feet down, just shifting between the 2 positions. I'm going to keep going with the leg extension one, but that's just an option for you. If you want to engage the obliques a little more, you can draw that knee in to the side here towards your elbow. Just remember which options you took, so that will be even on the other side. Give me 5, 4, 3, last 2, last 1, and with a big extension up top, and take that foot back to the ground. Maybe walk out the dog again here. And then when you're ready, drawing that right foot up and off the ground, enjoy a little extension for a second. And then you know what's coming. Bring that knee towards your nose in your plank position and back up. Make sure to be even on both sides. If you want to do that oblique version, draw that knee out to the side of your right elbow. For 3, 2, last 1, ending with a big extension up top, back to downward dog, and sit it back for a child's pose. Beautiful work, everybody. We are going to sit back on our glutes here for a couple movements. We're going to start with some tricep dips. So for our tricep dips, I'll show you 2 variations. Both variations, you want those fingertips facing towards your glutes here. You can either take them seated right here on the mat and bend it backwards, like so. Or you can join me with lifted hips up to the ceiling. those elbows backwards in both variations. We only have a few more exercises before cool down. Really challenge yourself here. We activated those triceps a little earlier, so we're not going to stay here for too long. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Whew, nice work. One final movement here. We're going to lay it all the way down, keeping those feet planted on our mat or the floor. Pressing every vertebrae into our mat here, pulling that belly button towards your spine. And then we will lift those shoulders and head off the floor here. Arms just floating above the ground a couple inches. You're going to reach one arm towards ankle and then switch. You may know these as penguins. You should feel the work throughout your entire abdominals here and your obliques. Can you reach an inch further on this next one? If you feel strain in your neck, you can also do this movement while supporting the base of your head here. Move side to side in the same way. Keep it up, almost there. For 5 on each side. 4, can you lift your shoulder blades a little higher? 3, 2, last working movement, and 1. Ooh. Lay it down. Let those legs fall. Ooh. Let those legs fall long. Arms long above us. Biggest good morning stretch. And bring it in to a ball as we start our cool down. You guys did a lot of work today. You should be proud of the work your body has done. So maybe here, as we're tucked into our ball, massage that lower back by shifting side to side. And then keeping that right knee in, let that left leg extend. Take your left hand over your right knee. Draw it over your body for a nice twist, letting that right arm fall long. And if it feels good to you, you can follow that gaze over to your right hand. We slowly find our way back to center. Let that left foot plant on the ground, extending the right leg tall above us, grabbing above or below your knee joint. For a nice hamstring stretch. On our next inhale, drawing that leg closer to us. And finding both legs in our nice tight ball here. Letting that right leg fall long, right hand over left knee, moving into our twist again. Moving back to center, planting that right foot flat on the floor, extending left leg above, making sure not to grab right behind your knee. Inhale, Exhale and draw that leg a little closer. Back into our ball, slowly roll up to a seated position. Swing those legs around behind you. We'll take a nice hip flexor stretch, bringing one foot in front of you, making sure not to let that knee go over your toe. Chest crowd, hand on that front leg. If you'd like, you can draw those arms up above you. Take an opposite tricep stretch to the leg that is forward. And let those hands come inside that front leg. Switch out which leg is in front. And if you'd like, incorporating that tricep stretch on the other arm. Letting those hands come inside that front leg. Step both feet together. Bring yourself in a forward fold. Knees bent as far as necessary to reach the floor. Just hanging here for a second. Maybe grasping each elbow, making a little basket for your head. Nodding yes, shaking your head no. And then we're going to roll up as slowly as possible. Do not beat me to the top. Stacking our vertebrae. Last thing to come up is our neck and our head. We'll finish out with just a couple stretches. We really activated those shoulders, so we'll take one more shoulder stretch here, drawing one arm across your body, grabbing above or below your elbow, and switching to that other side. Stepping right leg behind left, leaning to that left side, one arm overhead, for a nice IT band and oblique stretch. Switching that movement, left leg behind right, bending to the right side. And we'll finish off with a nice chest opener, clasping hands behind you, extending your arms to open up your chest here. Taking nice deep inhales through the nose and out through the mouth. And lastly, reversing that stretch, clasp your hands in front of you, separate those shoulder blades in the back. And we release those hands. That is all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for joining me. You guys did amazing work. I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording.